If you just clicked this video and you've never seen any videos on my page before, this is the first NHL video or any sports betting video. First of all, welcome. Happy to have you here. Number two, we have a name for you here, or at least I do. You're called a Westworld searcher. And why is that? Because I always thought that if Westworld was real and they were programming a guy who was a sports bettor and he needs to find NHL bets, what does he do? He goes to YouTube, and this is what they programmed into him, and he searches NHL bets tonight, enter, and then looks up and clicks the first thing underneath. And that's usually me. So I'm happy to have you here. You should comment down below. Hey, Andy, another Westworld searcher here, because there's been plenty. Go to yesterday's video. You're going to see Westworld searchers. Go to the day before that, plenty of Westworld searchers. You'll also just see a bunch of idiots who think the Washington Capitals are a good team, despite winning once in 7 games. Don't worry about them. I know, they're like the idiotic family member. You know, around the table, there's always the 2 idiots who you know are never going to amount to anything.
And dear Lord, please, I emphasize please, find Jesse a job on Monday morning.
Amen.
Other than that, everybody's fantastic. So yeah, let me know that you're here. I'm very happy to have you here. There's other terms that you're going to need to be informed about. I got to keep reiterating every once in a while. So many times here on my videos, we look at the NHL slate and we look for ruckus. Ruckus?
Yeah.
Yes, ruckus is just a code for games that are likely to go over and hopefully way over. Now, why do we look for ruckus games? Why do we care if a game's over or under? I mean, I personally love unders. Noble Englishmen love unders. I'll tell you who noble Englishmen are in a second. It might be you. But we look for ruckus overs because it's the most simple way to build high-paying same-game parlays. And I was going to grunt parlay because we call the people who crave these same-game ruckus parlays pirates. I call them parlay pirates. Why? Because they don't want to bet 100 on something, win 100, and then just say, hey, I'm a guy with $100. That's a noble Englishman. But these are parlay pirates here. They want to go from their studio in a basement somewhere, you know, their studio apartment, and then they want to hit 2 bets, and they want to be in the suite at the Bellagio. They're looking for a plus 15,000 and all sorts of things. And rather than be the guy who tells them like, hey, I don't think that's responsible, I feed them that steak in the middle of the woods. Now, if there's a tribe out there and throws a spear at them, they got to deal with it. But I'm gonna feed them what they want, and they can deal with the consequences after. So we're looking for ruckus, and I'll start you right away. Crash course on what's going on. I see a couple potential ruckus games on this slate. The first one I see, one is the Colorado Avalanche, and the other are the Dallas Stars. These teams tend to get in crazy games in Dallas. Earlier this year, I think Dallas went up 3-0 on their own home ice and lost the game. Full ruckus. Last year, it was an absolute Dallas beating. Both of the games over, plenty of ruckus. Now, the reason we're looking for overs is because we can take player point props and add them in there and build these massive same-game parlays, which will give the Pirates a couple pearls and keep them quiet for a day or 2. But they'll be back in 5 minutes anyway. So, in this game, I'm going 2 points for Mikko Rantanen, 1 point for Miro Heiskanen. Yeah, that's right. The Helsinki same-game parlay and the over 6.5. That will put you right there at plus 475. That's not the only thing you can do, though. If you're right about ruckus, so many different assortments are going to be right. So I usually tell people, put $10 on this one, $15 on this one. If one hits, it covers them all and more. So another one you can go with is Cale Makar for a point, Jason Robertson 2 points, and Dallas plus 1.5. But on the road, I'm more likely to think they're going to concede. I mean, if you look at that last game on home ice against the Islanders, conceded 4 goals, and Georgiev, let's just say, ain't looking so hot. So I'm going over 6.5 there with a couple of player point props on each side. Now, if you happen to be a noble Englishman and you just like a pick or 2 for the night, a team that I talked about earlier in the year, who I tend to like on this slate, the LA Kings. They just got shut out by Toronto on their own home ice. They're a very good team. They're one of the best in the West. And getting back on their home ice against a Detroit team who very frequently is part of the ruckus. You know, they are frequently included in these ruckus same-game parlays that go over. We're not going to do that here just because we don't want to mess with the Kings' quality defense. So I'm going to go with the LA Kings And if you want to knock that down, any Pirates out there, I will take Adrian Kempe to register a point. We know Detroit's defense and goaltending is nothing to really worry about. So despite the fact that they got shut out, I think they'll be able to bounce back nicely on their home ice. So give me the LA Kings there, a team that I guess they just refuse to adjust it because the jig is up. How many Islanders overs are we going to give and say they are dead last in so many expected defensive categories, expected goals against, and high danger scoring chances? It's crazy how many chances and shots the Islanders concede. Yet they continue to put these over. I saw 5.5 in this game against Arizona. Arizona has a good power play. They can score. The Isles have been scoring this season. Why are you putting it at 5.5? That's pretty crazy to me. So I'm going to go over 5.5. I'll even go over 6. And another bet that I like is both teams over 1.5. And I do like the Isles plus 1.5 here. Isles plus 1.5. Both teams over 1.5. But I do like the over 6 as well in that New York Islanders game. There are some games that have potential hidden ruckus. A hidden ruckus game that I see on this, dare I say, sniff. It's another thing we give on this channel, sniffs. Some things that most people don't see, but no, I'm sniffing this. I know nobody's talking about it, but I'm sniffing it. You take it. One thing you can call it a sniff is the over in a potential ruckus New York Rangers Chicago Blackhawks game. Why? I don't explain my sniffs. That's why they're sniffs. The regular picks, I'll explain. You call this one a sniff, and if you want to build a same game ruckus over parlay, give me 2 points for Panarin, 1 for Bedard, over 6.5. Don't take the Rangers on this one. I'm calling this a minesweeper. I'm just putting the little flag there. Another plus 1.5 team that I like on this, you guys are going to be disgusted at the price, but I just do want to mention it. The Vegas Golden Knights at home against the Florida Panthers, a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals. And we know how Vegas played extremely well against Florida in that season. I think it's just the right thing for Vegas. They need something to re-jumpstart them. They just got shut out in the Winter Classic. And what do we say when a team gets shut out or throws a shutout? We typically like to take unders in that next game. What happened last night? We took the under in that Anaheim game, the Anaheim-Toronto game. By the way, just a quick little mention. Everything I gave out yesterday. Oh, yeah, the Devils, Caps, both teams over 1.5 with the Devils plus money. And then Anaheim plus 1.5, Anaheim plus 1.5, under 7.5. What do you want? What do you want to start your 2024? Can't ask for much more, but you will because I know who you are. And that's why I don't feel bad asking you for much more by joining the Patreon, which I'm thrilled with. It's been going fantastic. And so many people have joined that I'm going to be doing a live stream on there next Thursday night. That's right, Scott Hansen Red Zone style. I am going to attempt to do a live stream next Thursday night as a thank you for all the people who joined the Patreon. And also, all the picks that I update after I make this video, because I make the video the night before. I don't know the starting goalies. I don't know the inactives. Last night, Timo Meier didn't play. Andre Palat didn't play. What happened? Dawson Mercer got the line promotion up to the top 6. So on the Patreon, it was very last minute, but I said, I like Mercer to get a point. I call it trickle-down snakeonomics. If somebody gets bumped into a position on a line with quality players, Brandon Hagel was a classic example of this last year all the time. When they bumped him up with Point and Kucherov, we frequently took him. Same thing when Makar has to miss a game and Taves gets on that top power play. We take Taves for a point. That's trickle-down snakeonomics, and I was able to throw that out to them on the Patreon yesterday. So that's the kind of stuff you get over there, but it's not like, oh, you come to the Patreon, I'm going to give you the bet. No, what you're doing, like the Green Bay Packers owners, you're funding this whole thing here. Do you see me open up talking about Three Musketeers? You think this is sponsored by Reese's Pieces? It's sponsored by you and everybody who's on the Patreon. So just know I appreciate you guys coming over, and anybody else who wants to join. Always appreciate it, always welcome. I'm sure next Thursday will be pretty fun. But going back to the game I was just talking about, after a shutout, I like to go under. We saw that in the Toronto Ducks game. Florida has been playing a way more defensive brand this year They play a brand that I'm signing off on. I'm signing off on the Panthers being a quality team. I really like the way they play. Even in tough losses, I see them really play well, way more disciplined, way less willing to just run and gun. And Vegas, they kind of got to get things restarted. We know with their coach, they are a defense-first team. You can't really blame a team who's won the cup to Vera. We saw the Lightning after their cups. They'd mail in 65% of the season, and then when the time came, they would hunker down and, stop other teams. But still, I like the under 6.5 in this one. I also like Jonathan Marchessault, the Conn Smythe winner. He gave an interview saying they're not doing the right things. Usually those veterans, they lead by example. I'll take the over on his point, and they got him listed at 3.5 shots. And I know that's kind of a sweat, but he felt pretty good the last time he saw these Florida Panthers, and I imagine it will bring up some good times, and maybe he'll put himself back in that June mode. But no, he's a shooter. He's on their top power play. He never is scared to let it rip. When a team is struggling like that, I do think they're a little more likely to fire pucks toward the net. So maybe a little side slice on the Bobrovsky over once we know. I don't know what the number is. It won't be set till tomorrow. I'll take a look. Okay. Then we'll end you with some ruckus. That's where we started. That's where we get a ruckus sandwich today. And that's going to be the Buffalo Sabres, Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens just got themselves in some ruckus down in Dallas. Now they're coming home and they're playing one of the kings of ruckus. And that's the Buffalo Sabres. Oh, they don't care. They'll lose to you 9-4, then beat you 10-2 like we saw a couple weeks back. Everything's on the table when it comes to them. Like Scream, Jamie Kennedy, everybody's a suspect. So here in this one, I'll give you 2 different examples, 2 different assortments. I'll go with Jeff Skinner, 1 point on the Buffalo Sabres. Cole Caulfield, 2 points on the Canadiens, over 6.5. There's one. Then a second one. I'll go with Alex Tuck, 2 points on Buffalo. Now, that's that top line, by the way. It's Tage Thompson, Tuck, and Skinner. I'm expecting them to have a good game. And then 1 point for Nick Suzuki on the other side, and the plus 1.5 for Buffalo, because I have a plus 1.5 sneaking suspicion on Buffalo here.
Hi, Jan.
It's always tough to predict with them, but I'm going to go with those 2 ruckus same-game parlays here for you on a Thursday. It's a massive slate, ton of stuff. Hopefully, it even goes remotely as well as every single day so far this week after the new year. Just murderers row so far. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying the fruits of my sniff. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not. If you don't join the Patrons, fine. I'm not guilting you. At least help these videos climb up the algorithm by liking, commenting. Don't worry about the Washington idiots. They're just gonna fade away eventually, like the people who doubted Carolina. Now they're all gone. So you know how it goes. It's like in Smash Brothers when you just boom and it's just they're eventually gone. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.